What's up, guys? It is Carly here, bringing you day number 1 of my 3rd annual 31 Days of Horror. Yes, I have decided to do this again. I was kind of debating on whether or not I wanted to do it this year because I feel like I kind of always get stressed out on trying to, watch all these movies and do all these reviews in the month of October. So, to be completely honest, I decided I'm just gonna go ahead and pre-record some of these, and hopefully, it all comes together and works out and I won't be as stressed. But this year I decided I'm gonna do a little bit of a theme, but not really. Last year I kind of just watched all random movies I had on my to-watch stack. The year before that, of course, I did movies that are Halloween themed, which is cool, but to do something like that, you have to seek out all these different movies with the same central theme, and it's kind of difficult. So this year I'm gonna do pretty much kind of like what I did last year. I watched my to-watch pile, which you can kind of see back there. It's where all those books are. I'll also have DVDs and all that stuff sitting there that I just have not gotten to yet, but I put everything in alphabetical order this year, and we're gonna watch things A to Z, or however far we get down to get to 31, and just thought that'd be a cool way to do it, and it forces me to watch some of the movies I've put off for super long. I literally have some movies on that stack that I've had for probably 2 years at this point, or like a year and a half, that they just haven't really piqued my interest, and I keep getting new movies, and then I keep putting those on the back burner. So put them in a specific order, figured that's how we're gonna do it. So first up here, of course, we're starting with the letter A, and we have a movie that's ironically not even that much of a horror movie, but it does definitely have horror elements, and it is from a horror director, and it's a thriller, so those kind of go hand in hand, and I count them for my collection, and that is Assault on Precinct 13 from the year 1976. Of course, this is John Carpenter's film, and this is one that everyone raves about and says it's one of his best films ever. Horror or non-horror, it's just like one of his best movies in a lot of people's opinions. And I actually got this DVD from Mr. Austin, of course, my co-host on my podcast, and it's one of his favorite movies by Carpenter, so it's one I really wanted to check out, but since it wasn't all that horror, I was kind of putting this one off for a little bit. But anyway, the plot to this film is you kind of have this gang. They call themselves Street Thunder. I kind of watched this a few days ago, so I have to kind of read off the back here, but so you have this gang. It's a pretty dangerous gang, and the LAPD, they gunned down a few of them, so the rest of the gang members are obviously really pissed off by this, so they kind of form this blood pact, if you will, where they're just gonna go out and kind of right the wrong, and they're just going around town and wreaking all this havoc on both citizens and police alike. Just innocent people on the streets are just kind of going around literally just shooting at people and causing all this trouble, and all while you have this sort of dude. He's kind of got all these convicts in this van, or whatever you call it, the bus, and he's trying to transport them, and then they end up at this abandoned police station because they're gonna stop there for a minute because one of the convicts is really sick, so they kind of have no choice but to stop, and kind of goes from there because they end up getting pretty much stuck inside this police station, and all these gang members decide to go to them and start trying to cause trouble and try to get to all of them and kill them. So it's kind of just becomes this very isolated fight for survival and trying to take down this gang outside. So yeah, this movie, I thought it was really solid. I really like the isolated prison setting. Prison settings, I think, are pretty cool. It's not really one that you see necessarily a lot, but when I see just a prison in any movie, especially like an older film and just an older looking prison, I always think it's kind of just a cool little setting there. The main characters in this movie, I think, are pretty interesting to watch. That's one thing about Carpenter's films. I feel like he always gets people that are really just entertaining and interesting, and pretty good actors. He reuses a lot of actors from his films, I notice, and I always like that with directors, because you can tell that they're all just kind of buddy with these people, and they get them to come back for their movies. So you definitely have some familiar faces in this movie. This, of course, is from '76, so it's one of his earliest films, but you know, you have two characters that are later to be in Halloween, so that's pretty cool with that. The whole thing, you know, just reeks of Carpenter. I feel like all his movies kind of have the same sort of vibe. They usually have pretty interesting and clever dialogue, and you definitely get that with this movie. There's a few scenes in this movie that are just very unexpected and action-packed, or not action-packed, but very thrilling and shocking. There's one scene in this movie where I kind of like dropped my mouth. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened, and it almost made me tear up a little bit, because I wasn't really expecting it to happen. It seemed like something that maybe could happen, but you really wouldn't think it was going to happen. You know, if you see this movie, I'm sure you know what part I'm talking about, but overall, I think it really has a lot of suspense and tension going on throughout it. Like I said, I like the setting as well, just the isolated, claustrophobic type of setting where characters are kind of stuck in this one situation and they're trying to get out of it. I'm a big fan. I've come to find that I'm a pretty big fan of these, I guess you could say, contained horror films where the people are just kind of stuck in one area for the majority of the film, and they're trying to kind of figure out what to do. So really enjoy that about it. Overall, I think this one's solid. Definitely not a horror movie, but it definitely has some horrific moments going on in it, and it's very just thrilling in what happens. So I definitely recommend it to any horror fans or just fans of thrillers and suspenseful films in general. If you have not seen this yet, which I feel like a lot of people have, definitely light on action. I always thought this was something about just the cover alone always made me think this was going to be a straight up action film, and that's also why I kind of put it off for so long. But it's not really action in the, like, you know, kick-ass type of action movie thing as much as it is just kind of a lot of gun action and you know, music that's really kind of hyped up and stuff like that. But other than that, it's more or less just a thriller. So 8 out of 10 for Assault on Precinct 13. Sorry guys, it's kind of a little loose in my memory, I'm not gonna lie. I watched it a few days ago and I literally have not had time to do a review. It's funny, I'm trying to pre-record these videos, but at the same time, it's at the worst possible time because right now it's actually summer. Yeah, I know it's kind of breaks the vibe there a little bit for it being October when you're seeing this video, but it is summertime and I have been busy, so I'm watching the movies and trying to get the reviews out so I don't forget everything. But yeah, so far this one didn't work out because I watched it at the beginning of the week and now I'm doing a review. But 8 out of 10 for this film. Thank you guys, as always, for watching my video, and of course, I will see you tomorrow for day number 2.